Hey, chat, what do you think the combined value of Will and I's organs are? Just throw some numbers out there. I'd just be curious.
$10 in a bucket of movie popcorn.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good.
Good morning, Matt.
Good morning, Will.
Good morning to all of you.
Welcome to Extra Breakfast, the only internet gaming talk show. We talk about this week's gaming and tech news, but not only that, do you believe in miracles?
I do believe in miracles.
Because holy macaroni, Brad, Janet, anyone who's absolutely watching this right now, the fact that this is going to your eyes and ears, hopefully, is nothing short of a non-denominational miracle. We've had some weeks, and then we had a morning.
That is true. I think everyone did, though. Like,
but yeah, I mean, look, by the way, hi, I'm Matt, he, him. I'm the showrunner, narrator of Extra Credits. With us, as always, is your streaming overlord, Will.
Hello, I'm also of the he, him variety.
And we do a little show called Extra Breakfast where we talk about all that stuff I said before. But the last 3 weeks, and this morning in particular, have been not commiserating, plotting, scheming, conniving to make it not happen. Let's go back in the way back machine real quick, Will.
Wait,
let's go back.
If in post I put Peabody and Sherman in, are we gonna get copyright struck?
Yes, so do it.
Okay, great.
Let's go back. What, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
So I think it's 3 weeks, right?
Okay.
So that would have been the 12th of June, or the 13th of June if you're Janet. There was no episode, and we'd planned an episode, and we've got all the notes for that episode, and we planned it. And here's what happened.
One of the most complex, like, in-depth episodes in a very long time. I feel like we both really worked hard on
We spent so long on that episode. It was so bad. Like, we'd spent time the day before. Like, there was all this stuff. Okay, cool. So we do that. I, as you may be able to ascertain by your wet hair, shower in the morning before stream starts. So I get in the shower at like a half hour before I have to meet Matt, and like I'm gonna take my shower, and that's really weird. It's taking a really long time for the water to heat up.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have time for that. I'll just take a cold shower. Wait, I gotta shave. Well, maybe I can get hot water out of the sink. No. Oh, that's not good. Go out. My water heater's in an external closet. I go out and I see water coming out of the closet onto the ground. And my water heater had died at 1 month to retirement. I was going to replace it in July when we go on our studio break. I had plans. I was going to get, like, it was going to be good, and it couldn't make it the 1 month to retirement. So
and Will, to your, I want to give you some really like high praise.
Sure.
When this happened, Will comes back. I'm sitting here. I'm starting to prep, I think, some of the images or something. And Will's like, hi, yeah, Matt. So my water heater just exploded, and there's water all over the ground. I look, I might be able to like be ready in like 15 minutes. And I was like, dude, no.
Like, I mean, okay. So in fairness, we probably, if it had been like a life or death situation, I probably could have like. I had this plan, right? The plan was genius, Matt. I have all these rags, right? And I was just going to like sort of cocoon it, like mummify it in rags, and then just turn off all the water and the gas, and then just worry about it later.
Yeah, no. So we obviously canceled the show because it just had to happen, and we needed that time for Will not to drown. So that was 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Or 2 weeks, whatever. That was the
12th.
Yeah. Then on the 19th.
That's correct.
I was away. I was at VidCon. So that was planned. So what we didn't want to do though is have 2 weeks of no breakfast because we'd get hungry. So what we kind of tried to do instead, and I hope you checked it out, and I hope it was informational. We kind of took the opportunity, and me, Jeff, and Kat sort of bashed our brains together and did a community post over on the Extra Credits Gaming channel, just about like what's going on with breakfast and what's coming up. And we gave actually, I think, weirdly, at least in my tenure here, the furthest out topic list of like what we're going to be covering on Extra Credits, along with talking about how Design Club's going to be moving over to the YouTube space and all this stuff. So we tried to turn a frown upside down.
Yeah.
And then today, I turn everything on after being away for a little bit. Everything seems fine. I'm seeing the little dials jumping up and down as I'm talking to myself, because I do that. On the microphone, everything's working. And then the second I connect with Will, it just stops. Long story short, I think my actual microphone, my nice, really, really nice microphone that I use to record, I think it shorted because it didn't work on the new board. It didn't work on the old board. I have to look into seeing, I'll deal with all that. So luckily I have a backup, which does look a bit like the inside of a lightsaber. So we were rushing around to get all that together. Also, I got back and had no food in the house. So you'll notice, like, I don't have my French press. I had to run out and get coffee. I'm going to be eating a parfait.
Everybody likes parfaits.
Everybody loves
Yeah, I was going to say, Matt, at some point, can you adjust the fact that you are ever so slightly blown out?
How about now?
Much better.
Look at me. I'm not a ghost.
You are, in fact, real. Yeah. By the way, Matt, I did not tell you that while you were having audio problems, I had already come on and fixed the audio problems that I had ascertained would be an issue, because yesterday I had taken the time to do this thing. I'm sure. Tell us about your worst dust bunnies in chat. I have like the nest of cables, right? Because I have 3 monitors and 2 key lights and the camera and the rig and like my Go XLR, my Switch, and like all of these cables, and dusting under and behind them is almost impossible. So I like had to disconnect everything and like redo the cable management and then like clean everything. And indeed, not a ghost. It is known. And then my computer was like, "Hey, we don't know what your board is anymore." So I had to fix that this morning, and that's great. So if you can hear and or see us, either one is probably fine. Both a miracle.
We did not want to go 3 weeks without doing this show. The goal, I think, moving forward, and I'm just saying this out loud right now, though, Will, I think we've echoed the sentiment, is like, yeah, things happen, but we really want to make sure we, whenever we can, to not go like 2 weeks without. Like, there'll be weeks when something happens, because that's basically what happens when you're on a shoestring budget weekly talk show from across parts of the country with a bunch of weird moving pieces that are based around a bunch of things hopefully just working out.
I think a lot of people don't understand the amount of like, we don't know why this works, but this is how this works after 4 years that goes into this show. And that's okay. And we also have a 24-hour turnaround time to get this from Brad to Janet. I also want to like remind people that like this films Monday and it goes to Janet on Tuesday. So
so if you want to be right now, next week, come over to twitch.tv/extra credits, and you can be a part of the liveness of us talking about the moment that this goes to YouTube on Tuesdays, where you can comment and we'll answer questions that you ask there the next time it's now.
Yes, that's correct. 100%. That's exactly what we're going to do. So, Matt, did we want to tell them about that thing that we both did? Thanks to Aaron.
What did we do? Oh, yeah. So Dr. Aaron McDonald, whom I met in person.
I'm so jelly. Wait, you didn't tell me this? Rude.
Listen,
you got to bring me to VidCon next year. That's just how this is going to go.
I know. It was so lovely to actually meet IRL. But yes, Dr. Aaron McDonald, friend of the show and ours, basically cracked the door open and like left like probably like just wedged a Star Trek communicator in so it wouldn't like lock behind her.
That's right.
And Will and I are now on Blue Sky.
Yeah.
So that's very lovely. Thank you, Aaron, so much for that. You can search for us over there if you'd like to see our musings. I haven't done much with it yet, but it's nice. It's quiet over there.
Insert quiet uptown from Hamilton. I'm over there. I'm trying to double post everything I post on Twitter. So if you're over on Blue Sky instead of on Twitter, you probably won't miss anything.
Aspen asks a great question. What the heck is Blue Sky? Blue Sky is Twitter, but not Twitter, and a fledgling Twitter. Well, what's a baby bird called?
A fledgling.
Is it? Is it just fledgling?
Or a chick?
Yeah, it's that, but it's by one of the original creators of Twitter, or the original creator.
Yeah.
So far, it's fine. It's been good. It's a little bit empty, but people are filtering in, and my algo is getting a little bit better and better every time.
Yeah, it's essentially what we perceive is likely going to be the place that everyone ends up after it's open to everyone, and Twitter finally, it's sort of like the end of the opera Don Giovanni. Don Giovanni's like this wretchedly evil character, and then at some point, a statue comes and drags him straight to hell. I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen to Twitter. It's just going to bodily, like the servers, the code base, everything, just drag straight to the molten core of the earth, and it will implode there, as it deserves. So find us on Blue Sky.
Yeah. We're also still on Twitter because we can't quit things that are bad for us.
Yeah.
But that's neither here nor there.
Yep. 100%.
Yeah. Mastodon was doing it, Diamond.
Mastodon's federation is the problem. The federated nature of Mastodon and the barrier to entry that it presents for new users is unresolved, and the inability to have centralized control of the Fediverse and to make like clean decisions about moderation and content guidelines and a bunch of other stuff is not appealing to the average user, right? Reminder that we're using these platforms for people that are way less tech savvy than chat, right? Yeah.
Also, Sulfuric, great mention here. If we're lucky, Elon and Zux will be incapacitated in their death match and both evil empires fail.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, I have bad news on that front.
It's been canceled?
So, like, I saw this 2 seconds before my mic fried. So, like,
sure,
please
right?
do not. Apparently, I saw a post on Reddit, and it has to be fake. It has to be fake.
Sure.
But if it's not, it's the greatest thing in the world. Elon Musk's mother called it off. There's like a thing about the mom saying like, no, this shouldn't happen, or like something. And
I just love the idea.
If it's true, oh boy.
Man, I really want to fight you in. By the way, no rule street fighting is what he practices. No rule street fighting, obviously. When the Zuck is an actual BJJ competitor, like he actually does compete in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
How disliked do you have to be as a human being to be like, man, I hope Zuckerberg wins? Like, where are we? How does this function?
I don't even know anymore. Yeah. Anyway, I just love that. I love everything about that. It's, Matt, we live in weird times.
What's a reverse popularity contest?
Right? Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
What do you call a bad miracle?
Tuesday? We call that a Tuesday. Or maybe. This morning, probably. This morning was a bad miracle.
But I gotta say, look, I know we're kind of plancheting a lot here, everybody. I'm having a wonderful time being back here with you, Will, and Brad, and Janet, and everybody else. Did we ever figure out the name for the Nebula folks?
People have suggested Rocky.
Rocky. Okay.
Because he doesn't talk a lot.
Rocky. I like it.
Right.
Okay.
Brad, Janet, and Rocky.
And it is the place for the picture show.
Right. Exactly. 100%.
All right. We've done it. We only took us 6 weeks. 2 of them down. We're here now.
Hi, Nebula. We love you.
All right.
Okay. So, Matt, do you know what piece of media I did not think was going to be hideously relevant in 2023?
Lord of the Rings.
Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. But Lord of the Rings is a close second because released into the wild, known to the Magic community, but perhaps not to some of our viewing audience, is the One of One ring. So Magic is working with the Lord of the Rings, with the Tolkien estate, with the rights holders, with everybody, to do an official Lord of the Rings Magic set, which is now out in the wild.
Right.
Okay. Now, Matt, when you're doing this, you obviously have to have cool swag. So there is a card for the One Ring, which does a bunch of cool stuff in game, and it'll be powerful and desired. There is also there's a new thing where there are serialized copies. So there are like 300 copies of the Elven rings floating around, and 700 copies of the Dwarven rings, and 900 copies of the Rings of Men.
I get it. They just tack 2 zeros on to
right. And you'd think that by that logic, there would be 100 copies of the special One Ring of Power.
Sure.
But no, Matt, there's only one of them. In the entire world, well, there's one real one. There's already like 10,000 counterfeits floating around. There's one real one, which means that people are doing their best impression of all of the children and all of the adults in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. They are buying up the boosters, the very expensive collector boosters that these can be found in, and just opening them with abandon. Because, Matt, how much do you think the One of One ring could possibly be worth?
I mean, okay, considering that money is fake, value of Magic cards doubly so.
Correct.
Can they even make up that number yet? Because isn't it like they're only available in the full booster boxes that are released on the only chance is it's in the full booster box at release.
Essentially. So there are 3 different kinds of boosters. This is only in one of them. It's in the most expensive, the collector booster box, which is now going for according to Polygon, it's come down. It was about $518, but it's come down as people no longer believe that the One Ring is out there. It's a box of 12 packs and is currently going for $444 on Amazon.
Wait, they think that it's not there now?
They're not really sure. There's a bunch of rumors about fakes, and there's a bunch of rumors that like someone may have cracked it and been holding on to it. But Matt, how much do you think this one card of the One Ring is worth?
I don't know. I mean, has question, Magic history question that I do not know. Has Magic ever done this before? Has there ever been one card?
The first time.
$4 million. I don't know.
You're not far off. It's $2 million and a paella dinner from a card shop. There's a card shop that's put out a $2 million and paella dinner offer.
I like the paella dinner.
Right? Right. It's great. I believe.
What? Listen, I love mom and pop gaming stores. Which one of them has just a cool $2 million lying around and can whip up a paella dinner that quickly? Like,
I mean, I believe, yeah, $2 million paella, $2 million. The paella dinner is really what everyone's like focusing on here, as you should, right?
Because that's going to take you all day.
Right. I can get $2 million, right? I got organs I don't need, right? I got at least 2 good kidneys, and I probably only need one of them.
Anything in this is worth $2 million. There's none.
Look. There's no way any celiac-ridden part of me is worth $2 million, but I can dream, Matt. I can dream.
Will, hey, chat, what do you think the combined value of Will and I's organs are? Just throw some numbers out there. I'd just be curious.
$10 in a bucket of movie popcorn?
Yeah. I mean, that's a good...
2 corn chips.
We have really... Today's a day.
Today is absolutely a day. So my point is merely don't, if you're a person who's thinking like, wow, I'm gonna buy a box of these cards and chase this one ring, don't.
Oh yeah.
Your odds are like worse than the lotto, and the value of the box drops unbelievably dramatically the second you open it, right? Because the combined value of the cards inside is most likely not $444, right? In any secondary market. The only reason it's worth that much, just like many other chase cards, is that there could be the one of one ring, right? So if you're okay with like lighting $444 on fire, then sure. But in general, don't fall for Charlie and the Chocolate Factory style, like consume things like this.
You gotta be the buckets.
Yeah.
Right? Like you gotta be just like at the end of this, when everything's calmed down, you randomly get it. That's what happens, right? It's been a minute since I've seen the Charlie and Chocolate. Like they have enough to get one bar of chocolate or something.
Yeah.
So question. So it's funny we're talking about Magic. I had the opportunity, and I couldn't get to the point in time. Thomas Frank, Tirzu, and Joseph from Real Life Lore were all playing Magic, and I brought my deck, and I should have played, and I just couldn't get to it in time. But they were Patch. Side note, Tirzu. I don't know if y'all know this. Tirzu just destroys Magic. Like it's almost not. I mean, I love playing with him. It's almost not worth it because the dude is a phenom. One time at PAX West, he just randomly went up and just like won the tournament, and then like it just happened again some other thing, and I'm just like, I can't even keep up.
There's an era of gamer that's been playing Magic for a really long time. I literally learned to read so I could play Magic. So I've been playing Magic off and on since I was 4, and have studied for the judge test, but never taken it. Patch and I should totally throw down. We should bet the channels. We should bet the channels.
Pink slips.
Let's go.
What's a Twitch equivalent of a pink slip?
I don't know. Purple slip, probably. Partner plus.
Partner slip.
Anyway, so that's happening. It's out in the wild. Do keep track of that.
My question is, what does the card do? Do we know what the card does?
Yes, it does a bunch of things. Essentially, it lets you draw a bunch of cards and then lose a bunch of life for drawing a bunch of cards, and it makes you temporarily indestructible. It makes you invincible for a turn, and then after that, you just start drawing a bunch of cards. It's not particularly impressive. It will be degenerate in some formats. But it's not like most decks don't want a copy of the One Ring. It's kind of weird. The premier, it's funny from a power perspective. The card that everyone wants is not a hero. It's not a named legend. It's called Orcish Bowmasters, and they have an ability that is absolutely bonkers and people are already calling for it to be banned in multiple formats. It's just some random, like, it's a 1 and a black for a Orcish Bowmasters, and it flashes in and does a bunch of stuff when your opponents draw cards. But that's the card that everyone wants to play with. People are just chasing the One Ring because they could get the one of one copy and it's valuable. There's like an imbalance here.
Question. Last question about this, then we're moving on. And this goes out to everybody. What do we think of this?
Yeah.
I don't know where I land on this. What I don't want in general is, invented scarcity and, that sort of thing. In general, that's normally where I fall. But I do keep going back with this particular story about, like, this narratively fits.
It does.
And I find I am more forgiving in these kind of, like, I don't know, gimmicks when they narratively fit.
That's certainly true.
And it's not something that will win you like every game ever, so it's not like a pay to play kind of thing. This is a weird collector thing, which again has its own problems and tribulations and a couple other things.
Yeah.
But like, Will, where do you stand on this as far as the goodness or the badness of what they're doing here?
So here's my thoughts. If there's other ways to get the card, then I'm much more okay with this, right? If it's there's a special limited edition one of one ring, and there's a bunch of other copies of like Soul Ring and other stuff, and there are special limited edition products that you can get. That's cool. That's great. those are not a thing that I particularly care about. And what it is doing, it's depressing the singles market because so many people with so much money are cracking so many boxes and cases and packs to find this thing. That the impact it's having on the singles market is that most of the cards that I would want to purchase are like sub $5 now. And I could go out and get the singles that I need to build a deck, to build a commander deck, right? The decks I'm interested in are Aragorn the Uniter. He's a $7 card now, which is like barely more than the price of a booster pack. You could chase him in booster packs, so you could buy singles. The super busted card that every white player in Commander wants is $5. That's Flowering of the White Tree. And like you can build a Shelob deck. Shelob is like $2 now, right? These are not expensive cards.
I want to build a Shelob deck.
Right. There are so many cool things, and it's depressing the singles market. So while I agree that asking people to chase the one-of-one ring is not good and has a whole bunch of problems with gambling and FOMO and all of that, one of the side effects that I am happy to see, though I don't know if it's worth the price that we're paying, is the depression of the singles market to the point where you can just buy the thing that you want, right? Which is the lesson I would offer to our viewers is buy singles. Do not crack packs. Go buy singles. Just buy exactly what you want and don't gamble. Or
if you're just playing with your friends.
You know, an inkjet printer's way less than the $2 million in a paella dinner.
Proxy Town, baby. And then you know what? You can make your own paella dinner. I mean, it's going to take a while. Again.
Yeah.
To make a good paella. That's a joke that it's weird that they're doing that. It's a joke Jamie and I have. Is like, oh, what do you want for dinner? And we could make a quick paella. There's never a quick paella.
That's right.
It's never quick.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Well, yeah. I wish I hope it is found soon. It does feel very Willy Wonka-esque.
Yeah.
Without hopefully the murdering of children in a chocolate factory.
You know, I'm really hopeful. I'm truly very, very hopeful about that. Yeah. J.R.R. Tolkien. I invented the Ring of Power as a cautionary tale. Watson. At last, we've created the Ring of Power from hit fantasy novel. Please destroy the Ring of Power. Yes. By the way, I have no money to offer you. No money at all.
How many paella dinners?
I will learn to make paella and send it to you. Ooh. If you provide the internet with a video of you taking the one-of-one ring and throwing it into an actual volcano. I will find a way in the name of the internet to overnight you hot paella if you provide the internet with a video of you throwing the one-of-one ring into a volcano and becoming a legend for all of time. Do it. You won't.
Would cold paella just be chunky gazpacho?
We're out here asking the real food-based questions here on Extra Breakfast, but you know what, Matt? I think we should probably move on to another place where they ask real questions some of the time when things are going right, and no questions right now that everything has gone wrong. Let's talk about Reddit.
Wow! It's our old friend Reddit. Boy, oh boy, haven't checked in there in a minute. How's it going, Reddit? Let's hear from our correspondent at Reddit. Take it away, Reddit. Chat, Brad, Janet, Rocky, have you been keeping up with this nonsense? Not great. Not great what's going on at Reddit. Their CEO wants, and again, I don't know. I don't know all the technical terms, but their CEO is trying to change the way that third-party programs can interact with the Reddit API. Is that correct?
Yes.
And because the Reddit app doesn't do the things that actually let moderators moderate, everyone's really upsetty spaghetti because they're like basically locking the access of that API behind a incredibly expensive paywall, which will kill a lot of the third-party apps.
That's correct.
And like from a business perspective, this is stupid. It's a short-term gain to try to kill competition and make a little money when what they should be doing, and what almost I feel like every other tech company has learned this is the way, is look at all of the third-party things that people have already designed and made your product better, and then just build that into your product. Everyone else is doing your R&D for you, and you can keep rolling along. And if you start making a better product, then they'll stop going to the third-party products. But no. CEO of Reddit, whose name I can't bother to remember, has decided that no, instead they're going to do this. So Reddit communities have, and I'm going to use air quotes here, risen up, and had a blackout day or period or something. Every subreddit was kind of different.
Yep.
Over the course.
It's still ongoing, by the way, in some cases. Yep.
Yeah. And has basically made Reddit's private or turned off the Reddit altogether.
I have a couple of prime examples for you.
Sure.
Pics is now exclusively for pictures of Stephen Colbert.
John Oliver.
John Oliver, that's right. Yes,
Yep.
Excuse me. I get them confused all the time because I don't know why. The saucier the picture of John Oliver, the better. And my personal favorite is that in a stunning move, political humor made everyone a mod. Right. So the deal is that you have to have moderators on the sub, and if you don't have enough active moderators, Reddit will just take the sub away from you and give it to theirs. So they said, fine. You want? Sure. Everyone's a moderator now. Have fun. Enjoy.
So good.
Right?
I didn't know this one. Diamond says Steam is now exclusively for memes about the vapor state of water.
That's correct. Also, Steam trains. Anything that runs off of Steam.
Right.
So this is going to be ongoing for a while. This is going to turn into a slugfest, I think. Because
the CEO has said that, so this is the thing that was weird and why I did the air quotes. First, a lot of subreddits were like, we're going dark for 3 days. And like, I actually didn't go on Reddit for those 3 days just to whatever, right? Yeah. Small wolf howling. But then a lot of people's arguments, and I do agree with this, is like, well, if you have an end date to your strike, who cares? Like, there's arguments to be made like, well, look what we can do. We don't want to do this. See what it is. The CEO has said that the blackouts and the protests have not affected monetarily Reddit. However, other sources are saying that it has. So I don't know where this is going to go.
They're never going to say that it affected them, right? Just like when similar-ish example, Twitch made a bunch of decisions that a bunch of people weren't a super fan of. And this was a year ago, maybe more, when we participated, as did many other creators, in a day off of Twitch. Twitch said it didn't affect their bottom line, and we know that that's not, strictly speaking, true, because we have third-party tracking data that shows the overall decrease in viewers from that particular day to the Wednesday before, right? Because Twitch fluctuates weekly more than daily. So we can see that, but of course, no company is going to tell their user base that they had that much impact, right? That's not a thing that they're capable of doing.
Yeah.
So, I kind of think this has been effective. There are also all kinds of other stuff. They've been making many subreddits not safe for work because NSFW subreddits are immune from advertising. So you can't advertise there if it's a not safe for work subreddit because advertisers don't want to advertise on pornography or drug paraphernalia or whatever else the subreddit is about, which I think is fascinating as a wonderful idea. It also means that, weirdly, that some third-party apps can't access it because NSFW subreddits are also forbidden from third-party API usage. So you can only get to them on the official Reddit app, so it's sort of a two-edged sword. Basically, I've
heard about this too. What Mitch says, Reddit admins have been replaced by mods that have turned it on, which is I mean, the truth is, I think actually, so I won't say the truth is, I believe that if enough people or enough Reddit sort of did this, Reddit itself doesn't have the person power to actually like do it, like to really without damaging its own profitability. It stinks too. I was joking around lightly about Reddit before. I really like Reddit. Reddit is, I guess it's social media, is the social media platform that I feel like I have cultivated a space that I like being in based on what is blocked and what subreddits I'm a part of and all that stuff. I never really did the legwork with Twitter, so it's a hellscape. Facebook is like so off the rails at this point that I use it to post my podcast. That's about it. Yeah. So it's sad.
I'm in Discord like 95% of the time. That's like my primary social media outlet. Is like
it's interesting. Well, here's a question. This is an odd tangent. Is Discord social media?
Yes.
I would love a poll if we could get a poll up at something because and we'll tell everybody how it goes because I think I see Discord as a tool. We don't post like is there public posts on Discord outside of in specific Discords?
So but there are public Discords that you can join, right?
Right. Maybe it is closer to Reddit than I'm actually thinking. It's more like an immediate Reddit because the comments of Reddit could be seen. No, but because let's even talk about our Discord, which you can become a member of if you are a Twitch subscriber or a member of the Patreon. Links in one of the descriptions somewhere. Even if you look in our Discord, like in Show Us Your Breakfast, which again is a lovely part of our Discord where people post all of their deliciousness, their breakfast foods. When someone posts, you can do replies, but it doesn't make like a thread, right? Like you can. I don't know. Maybe I don't use it that way. What's everyone thinking? I'm curious. Is Discord social media?
Brad is probably split about 50-50 on this based on initial polling.
We have some time on that. Yeah.
But I think it is in that I use it to connect with people in a variety of spaces. And much like, if Facebook is social media, then Discord is, right? Because I've chosen the spaces and the people I connect with on Facebook in a public or semi-public manner, right? And in the same way, people post in places that I can access that information in Discord in a variety of fashions, and I can choose who I want to be friends with and who I don't. It doesn't seem substantially different. I've just curated like the places I can be, right?
So Facebook, I see, and Reddit is going to disprove what I'm going to say next. But in my head, before I prove myself wrong, I consider social media things places where you have a home page or a home feed. Sure. And I guess Discord, you could consider all of your Discords your home feed, but like Twitter, you have your profile. Facebook, you have your profile. Reddit, you have one, but like it's not actually, I don't even know this. Could someone, you look at my Reddit name and then see all the subs that I subscribe to?
Post in, yes.
Okay.
Subscribe to, don't know.
No. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, it's kind of an arbitrary distinction. I just was curious what people thought. And it is actually still going. Right now, it's not neck and neck anymore. About 67% of people so far, and the poll is not over, are saying that Discord is social media. Yeah. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I think the really good question is one that Philippov has asked, right? I think that's like really cutting at the heart of it, which is you got it? Is a content algorithm what makes it social media?
Ooh, I hope not, but maybe.
We've been talking about that on EP. They've actually, there's currently legislation afoot in the European Union that would rein in some content recommendation algorithms. And so I think that will be interesting. To see if that enters into the legal definition of social media. But I think that might be why many people are pushing back against it. I use Discord like social media. I use it in the same way that I use Facebook, or used Facebook in the past.
It's funny. I think I've nailed it down. I think the reason why I don't feel like Discord is social media is, and this is a terrible thing to say too, I don't get my news there. Like, I don't get outside stuff like coming into my, like, outside of someone sending me something directly or me seeing it randomly in one of the things. Like, granted, I'm sure I could be a part of a news Discord and I would get my news that way. It's very interesting. I like this question.
It's a very good question. And I think we'll yeah. I get all my news from Extra Politics. Yeah. Our politics channel is thriving, by the way. We have threads for individual ongoing world events.
Great, yeah.
And like stuff like that. And that is why I think to me it feels like social media. But I am also
cool.
I'm also like the head moderator there, so take from that what you will. All right, we should move on into other news that has nothing to do with this and is much more uplifting.
I will finish it with this. Is Discord social media the new is a taco a sandwich? No. We all know that a taco is a sandwich. I think we're still, the poll is still going on if Discord is social media, but I can say definitively 150 million% the value of my organs combined with Will's that a taco is a sandwich. And if I'm wrong, well, I owe you a quick paella.
All right, next up. Let's talk about this Nintendo Direct that happened last week. After some kind of weird downer news, let's talk about good stuff, chat. Because, like, Nintendo's Direct was like Summer Game Fest, more like Summer Snooze Fest. Get wrecked, nerds. I'm super excited about everything that got announced at the Direct.
Yeah, and we didn't get to talk about any of the other stuff. We had a whole thing on Starfield. We had a whole thing, but I feel like it's all kind of moved on. We will circle back to everything when the games come out for the Summer Games Fest, or when things get closer to it. We will circle back to all of the stories about that. But this was the most recent, so we wanted to touch on it.
Yeah,
I didn't get to watch it live, but I did end up watching it with a bunch of people at VidCon, like at 10 o'clock at night, like in a side room of a house. We're like, let's just, who was there? I know Alex was, Low Spec Gamer. And because we like promised each other we'd watch it.
Yeah. Well, and I know Alex is a bit of a Nintendo fiend, so he's definitely a good one to watch this with.
Oh, y'all, I forgot about this. Can I say this yet? I think I can. I get to do a voice cameo in his upcoming video, and I won't even say for who it is, but I'm super psyched.
Of course you are.
Sorry, Nintendo Direct.
Yeah, Nintendo Direct. All right, so first and more importantly than anything else, they remade Super Mario RPG, the original one. They were like, hey, dropped out of nowhere, like a blessing of rain on our feed. Hey, you know this beloved classic SNES game? Yeah, what if we just updated it completely and remade it, and it's got new graphics, and here you go.
This year has been pretty good for Nintendo outside of all the bad that it could have been.
Yeah.
The outside of the legal spectrum, Shadow dropped Metroid Prime remake.
Yep.
Tears of the Kingdom. And now Mario RPG.
That's correct. And that's not even to mention that the other thing that they released a bunch of details for was Pikmin 4. And every Pikmin player I know is super hyped for that because it looks more and more like they're getting the time they need to refine the Pikmin formula, which has kind of been a little scattered. But the idea of Pikmin is really strong as a gaming concept. Pikmin,
I've said this before, I really like Pikmin and I like to pick it up every time it comes out, but it is a game I bounce off of hard.
Yeah.
Like, do you, chat, and everybody, do you have games like that? I would be really interested if in the YouTube comments and right here in Twitch, and even go to you could tweet at us if you're watching this on Nebula or Blue Sky. There's so many places to get a hold of us to have this answered. Is there a gaming franchise that you really love the idea of so much that despite the fact you're gonna probably bounce off of it, you still pick it up? I think Pikmin is that for me.
Yeah, I think that's totally fair.
I'm curious about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got a couple already.
Yeah.
This is because like
Pokemon. I think Pokemon is a big one, right? I'm gonna spill some heresy, chat. That's because OG mainline Pokemon games haven't been truly innovative or interesting since like they moved to 3D. And all the strength of Pokemon is in all of the side content now. Go, the card game, stuff like Arceus, the anime, right? The main series games not as good as everyone remembers them being from when we were young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, everybody, I'm trying to get everyone's sort of things in as quickly as we can. Just so you know, for featured.chat, if you want your thing on the screen, it can't be one word. It will not let me select it.
One word.
Just so you know.
Yeah. So I think that Pikmin 4 coming out is going to be really big. Matt, I know you're really excited. We got more details on the next wave of Mario Kart DLC.
Let's go. There's one that's just in a bathroom. I didn't know I wanted that, but here we are.
There are also new racers.
Yep. Who is it? It's I'm blanking all of a sudden.
Kamikupa and Piranha Plant? Peony Piranha?
Piranha was already out. This is the thing. It's so...
It is. Chat's confirming it's Petey Piranha.
Oh, it's Petey Piranha, Wizrobe, and Wiggler?
Wiggler. Matt Draft says Wiggler. I'm inclined. Yeah. So new racers.
How's Wiggler going to fit in that cart?
If Wiggler wore a cart, would he wear it like this or like this?
We don't know. We're apparently gonna
right.
when it drops, whenever it drops.
Yeah, soon enough.
What a fun. Okay. Let's talk about monetization. I don't want to subscribe to Nintendo's online thing, and I know you can get the DLC pass for free and a couple other things when you do it. I wanted to buy the equivalent of the same amount of tracks from the first round of Mario Kart 8. And I got to. And I like it because I spent the money forever ago. But there's waves of this stuff that comes out that gets me to pick up Mario Kart again and again. But it is not like, oh, here's $5 more this time. It's like, no, I spent my money. And now for a year, I get Mario Kart tracks. Mm-hmm. And I like that.
Yeah. It's like those little subscription boxes, right? Like, do you remember when Loot Crate was a thing?
Yeah. I have a drawer full of garbage from Loot Crate.
I just chucked all the garbage from Loot Crate.
I have a thing where if it has a face on it, I really have a hard time throwing it away.
No, that's totally fair. Yeah, that's totally fair. But there are all kinds of subscription boxes like that, and I think this subscription box model where you pay up front for X amount and then get stuff. This is also kind of how like Brandon Sanderson did his Kickstarter. You pay up front, and then over time you're gonna get novels, right? You're gonna get DLC, and that's kind of nice. I like that. You pay a set amount of money. You know how much stuff you're gonna get, and then you get it drip fed over time. Great.
I don't know. I dig it. I dig it a lot.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the other games. There's going to be Splatfest all about ice cream, which is great. I know that people who are excited about Just Dance was really excited about the 2024 edition.
Yep.
I'm psyched. It's Penny's Big Breakaway, which is the people who made Sonic Mania. It's like their game. Mm-hmm. That I'm real pumped for because that team I think does great work. What else were you psyched for, Will? Sonic Superstars, you were all interested in that?
I was pretty interested in Sonic Superstars. More 2D Sonic games are always good. I think that in the same way that we need that new... Oh, yeah. Neither of us put it on here. There's that new 2D Mario game that's
that was
like...
what we were going to talk about last.
Yeah. All right, well, we'll talk about that. I'm really looking forward to Silent Hope, which is a action roguelite. So, duh, right up my alley. For those who are unfamiliar... I am a roguelite aficionado and connoisseur, so I'm very excited for that. There are a bunch of ports that are coming to the Switch for the first time, notably the Arkham trilogy, so that's cool.
So how is Arkham Knight not going to melt your Switch? Like, how? I'm so curious how that runs.
So you get a lot a lot of mileage by downscaling to 720p.
Yeah.
You get, like, I think a lot of people, as someone who has to, like, occasionally downscale stuff to make high-intensive things not melt my PC while I'm doing other stuff, you get a lot of mileage out of downscaling to 720. 720 is pretty trivial. And
I guess, I mean, I'm amazed at what the Switch can actually do from a low end sort of perspective. Yeah, I don't know. The thing that I was the most interested in, other than Super Mario Brothers Wonder, which we'll talk about last, was the Metal Gear Solid Collection Volume 1. It has Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3, and the 2 Metal Gears and Snake's Revenge, the NES games.
Yep.
And I was so hyped to be able to buy a physical cartridge with all of those games on it. Recently, this just in a few days ago, it was released via Konami that actually there's only going to be about 2.4 gigs of the required something like 30 or 40 gigs on the cartridge. And you have to download the rest. This kind of took the wind out of my entire sails for this thing, because the point of a cartridge in this day and age is to have the physical cartridge and not need the internet. It's really, and I get it, like a 64 gig cartridge is way more expensive than a 4 gig cartridge for a Nintendo Switch game. I understand that. Maybe I don't know the pricing, like, I don't know, but like, I feel like Metal Gear Solid having 1, 2, and 3 on a thing you can own forever is a real nice value proposition. Like, and there's some stuff too, like they have like they have like the movies of the, some of the manga or some of the other like written stuff that you can like watch like a movie. And like, I understand that maybe that video is downloaded or something, but like the games, I don't know. I was very disappointed to hear that was going to be the case.
Yeah, that's kind of a huge bummer. Like it very much defeats the purpose of having the physical object if it doesn't actually serve the full function.
Yeah, I wanted. Oh, also, side note, I've just been hearing about this. Starfield won't even have, I think, a disc or something stupid. Like they'll sell you the box, but it's just a download code or something.
I mean, that also makes sense, because if you think the Starfield isn't going to be getting patched until the moment they hit launch, and then will continue to be patched
1,000%, but like, just don't waste the plastic. Like,
I just have why. Like a card.
I get why, because stores need something to sell.
Right.
Like, I think it's time, if you're gonna be just doing, you know, non-physical versions of games, like a card or something. Like, we don't need to pay the shipping costs and the manufacturing costs and have them all end up at the bottom of the ocean eventually anyway. Like,
unfortunately,
there's no point.
That's not how sales psychology in specific high-end places like video game stores work.
Make it cardboard.
I know. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but one of the most important things that they're encouraging salespeople to do in every place that sells expensive boxes full of things that should not be that expensive is to put a big or sizable or chunky thing in someone's hands, because once they do that, you're invested in purchasing it. That's a really great way to spend less at places like GameStop or Games Workshop or your local game store. If you have a problem spending a lot, don't pick up anything. Because once you pick it up, it's yours. Your brain goes, it's mine now, right? Huge air quotes, right? Obviously. But it's not, that's the problem, right? Is that they want to engage in that part of the psychology. So I understand why they're doing it, but I'm also with you. Make it cardboard. Don't do that.
Or put the soundtrack in the box. I like that.
Also that. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, see no touch. Absolutely.
So I'm really disappointed in that. I was super excited, and now I don't think I'm going to get it. Like, there's a chance, weirdly, and I don't know if this is the case, if the disc versions on the other consoles have them all physically on the disc,
Yeah.
that I might pick that up.
Yeah.
But I was so excited to have it on a cartridge.
Yep. Absolutely.
Anyway, so then there's Super Mario Brothers Wonder. I am psyched for this. It looks just different enough from a visual style and sort of like perspective. Like, it doesn't look exactly like Mario, but still somehow feels like Mario. Yeah. Oh, I love this comment. I love it so much.
Yeah.
Ouroboros. Do we mean Fear and Loathing in the Mushroom Kingdom? I think so. It's like a little bit off and Wonkadoo. I am very excited how it looks like it's shaping up. Elephant Mario's like whatever, but like I just really loved the look and the feel of this game, and I think that's coming up before the end of the year too. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's very psychedelic. It's got a lot of like Grateful Dead t-shirt vibes is probably the way I would put it, right? It's very like tie-dye, weird bears walking in circles, enemies are bizarre, things don't work the way they traditionally have kind of thing. And I think that's good for the Mario franchise to shake things up.
Yeah, Snow Cone, that's a great point too.
It looks kind of like Mario 3.
It does give me Mario 3 vibes, which I think is probably my second favorite Mario game. The first being Super Mario World, because that just rocked my literal world. The second, like there was a world, like it's just it's crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna prove myself a youngin. I don't like any of the 2D Mario games.
Really?
Because
so 64 was your
correct
first?
Because I don't have any backstopping for the 2D Mario games. I pretty exclusively have backstop for the 3D Mario games, right? Yeah. Which is very interesting to me. I don't think there's anything wrong with them. I just don't like them.
Yeah.
Right. Like
so. Oh, and they're porting Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon to the Switch, which I think is great. Because that was an awesome entry into the Luigi's Mansion franchise.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of stuff from Nintendo Direct.
They're also moving Dark Moon to the Switch.
That's what I said. Didn't I just say that?
You might have, and I just kind of had an audio glitch in my brain.
Or I just said something not that triggered you.
Chat, we have had a morning. The fact that we've made it this far in the show, and that's the first time that Matt and I have gotten out of like brain sync, is pretty impressive. Okay. So,
I'll have you know, there is a plastic statue that says second handsomest Matt that has a fake plastic gold pigeon. It's the only thing that's holding up this alt mic cable because it's the only port that this mic can plug into. That is what is making this whole thing happen, right? That's the level of polish. We are we are just patching every possible hole we can with duct tape at this point.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, let's talk about a weird story, right? So in an era where we're talking about lots of like new monetization methods and new battle passes and this and that and the other, Dota 2 has announced that they'll be ditching battle passes. And the reason is quite straightforward. Nobody buys them. Which now let's be very clear. I think that this is unique to Dota 2. I think also that this is unique to Valve in that Valve could run Dota 2 for the rest of the natural lifespan of the internet at a loss and still be fine. And I also think that this is because Dota 2 has other methodologies of monetization, but it's very interesting to hear that they're going to be moving away from that.
Battle passes 9 times out of 10. Like, look, I get that it's ubiquitous now. I've never bought a battle pass, but I've played the free battle passes in games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It does really stink that you pay for the privilege of having to play in a certain window to get the things.
I mean, in this case, it's a year, but
1,000%, and that's great. But that also means you need content on average that takes someone a year to do.
Yep.
I always wished, and maybe actually, please, everyone, let me know where this might exist. I always kind of liked the idea of a battle pass that, like, at the end of it, you just got everything unlocked anyway, but like the speed at which you could get the things, like you could get, like, let's say there was a year-long battle pass. you could get all the things in 6 months. But if you bought it, no matter if you completed nothing or not, you get everything when the battle pass finishes. Like, I always thought that would be a good
there are a bunch of ways that different places are doing it. We're seeing the rise of once you've unlocked the battle pass, it's not time bound anymore. Once you've bought the battle pass, you're guaranteed some amount of you're guaranteed that it'll very quickly pay for itself in premium in-game currency, so you can roll it forward. Or we're seeing a lot of innovations, but Valve is just like, no more.
So I didn't know that, Filipov, about microtransactions and raw currency, no tokens, which is amazing. Here's another question. How else does Dota 2 make money? It's a free-to-play game.
Gambling, Matt. They make money off of gambling. So there are chests or crates, or I don't remember, treasures. Chat, what's the name of the loot crate in Dota? So Valve games do loot crates differently than other games do. Well, I don't know about differently. But you earn the container by playing the game. Or you can buy it on the Steam Marketplace for really cheap. It's like cents, right? This is true of TF2, CSGO, and Dota 2.
Okay.
Then you have to purchase for roughly $2.50. It varies by specifics. A key that will let you open the container.
Okay.
And it will give you a randomly generated item from the range inside. This is one of the biggest parts of CSGO, is trying to get expensive cosmetics by gambling on opening packs. And people often spend more, and just like the one of One Ring, don't do this. Just buy the thing you want. Just buy the thing you want, right?
Okay. So they have other monetization methods. And the reasoning that Valve has said this is they felt like to make enough content for a battle pass, they were taking away time from being like innovative with the actual game itself and making it sort of fun to play, which is, again, a balance I think you very much need to strike if you're going to be doing a lifestyle game that is sort of is supposed to be going on forever. I don't think skins and emotes and whatever are going to be enough to keep your player base actually engaged. And if you see that you are siphoning talent and time and energy off of the thing that actually makes your game run to just make more stuff for people to maybe win via a battle pass, I think it's a smart move. Again, Will, to your point, this is a pure Valve thing. Yeah. Like, I don't know if another game could do this.
Riot could, and they're probably it. It's like Riot and Valve, because Blizzard certainly can't, right?
No.
Riot and Valve have built free-to-play games that have thriving communities, right? TF2 hasn't gotten a major content update in, I believe, longer than this podcast has been happening, and still makes Valve money because there is still a thriving community that still does, that still plays the game and purchases the cosmetics and does all of those things, right? They still purchase tour tickets for Man vs. Machine, all kinds of stuff, right? So they can do that. They're probably the only ones.
Yeah. Anyway, I like this move. I hope it works out for them.
Yeah.
Seems good on the surface.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see. Things that aren't going well on the surface and things that continue to just keep popping up. So.
Oh, it's our old friends.
Right. Speaking of ActiBliz. So the merger is the acquisition of ActiBliz by Microsoft is continuing to show up in courts, and the FTC is still trying to block it, and Sony's trying to participate in the block. And I don't think we have a lot to say, but we did want to bring up that it continues to show up in court. If you thought this was going to be a quick, all right, great, ActiBliz gets bought by Microsoft, they clean house, they get rid of all of the executives who are perpetrating an abusive work culture, whatever, we can go back to playing whatever Blizzard game. No, I'm sorry. This is going to drag on for, at this point, Matt, years? Do we think years? I think years.
I bet you over a year. I don't think it's going to go for longer. Here's the thing. There's a great article on Forbes about this. It's in our notes. Can we get that in the?
Yeah.
thing. Basically, it does like a kind of a breakdown of like what happened last week in this. There was an email revealed from PlayStation head Jim Ryan saying that he did not actually believe Microsoft would remove Call of Duty from the system, and they would be more than okay if the deal went through, contrary to their public statement. Yikes on bikes. The FTC had a hyper-focused concept of Microsoft executive through deals like this, both in terms of games themselves and also content within those games. Essentially, no attention has been paid to Sony's grand list of exclusives. They are, of course, not offering to Microsoft again. So Sony's been basically being like, this is unfair. But like Sony's, and again, I'm not, regardless of what you think of this, Sony has exclusives. Sony actively goes out and pays for exclusives.
Yeah.
Now, it's funny to me the amount that they believe Call of Duty is like the gaming industry,
right?
Which I'm not. I'm sure it is, but also, and maybe it's just the circles I try, but like anyone in chat, Brad, Janet, Rocky, I'm not in these circles, but even so, having not been in the circles of Call of Duty for a long time, I've noticed less chatter about the games as they come out over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Like, I've never gotten a lot of it, but now I get much less.
It's more siloed, right? It's more focused. It is a more directed stream of announcements and stuff. But we are also like off the beaten path, I think, a fair bit.
I know, but like I've always been off the beaten path.
That's true.
And I always still got like there was still leakage into my path. It dribbled across the way. Anyway, I just find that interesting. Also, the FTC has kind of proven throughout these hearings that they don't know what they're talking about when it comes to a lot of this stuff. One of the most tone-deaf moments, as per the article in Forbes, was when the FTC started asking Microsoft if it meant that the acquisition could produce exclusive costumes or items for Xbox and not PlayStation. This is quite literally the exact kind of exclusive content that was produced for PlayStation as a result for past Activision deals. So, like, they keep... If the goal is to stop this merger, they keep referencing examples how this has happened forever and it's been fine. They also tried to gotcha Phil Spencer by making him under oath answer if he would keep Call of Duty on PlayStation and future PlayStations. He then swore to that under oath.
Right,
and
yeah,
then,
like...
They tried to make him swear the same about other games, and the judge was so annoyed by the attempt that they cut off them from doing so. Like, so Phil Spencer's just like, yeah, like, whatever, man. Like...
Yeah, it's also because... game manufacturing, right? They don't. So the FTC doesn't understand how exclusives work, doesn't understand how the industry works, doesn't understand what actually makes people money. Games make people money, right? Why would I not want my game to come out in as many places as possible to make me as much money as possible, regardless of who my parent company is, right? Because again, consoles. We've talked about this with Jeff. Both the PS5 and the Xbox, whatever the hell the series we're on.
We don't know the name.
Right, yeah, no. PS5 and the Xbox series, right, are loss leaders. Those consoles don't make money. The games sold on those consoles make money. The people making the games want, like...
I have a thought. Do we think, as the mergers happen and as every company becomes one company... do we think that if there's so much cross-pollination of actual games and there's no more, like, if exclusives become less and less, will the winner of the console wars
Olympics?
The console Olympics, thank you, that's much better. Will the winner of the console Olympics be the ones with the most seamless use cases?
Probably.
I have not used the latest Xbox or its OS or anything. I don't know how it runs. I can tell you I love how the PS5 runs. Like, out of the box, like, even the PS4 when it launched, I was like, I see some problems with this UI that I wish didn't exist. PS5, I can't name one. Like, I love, and maybe it's just how it interacts with the way I work with my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious how the Xbox... how its UI is, and if the ease of use case scenario is going to be sort of what drives it, if everything is available everywhere.
Right. Yeah. I think Microsoft is also having a problem, right? Which is that they're still in last place on the console Olympics. They're getting bronze like in every event, every time. Because anyone who wants to participate in the Xbox ecosystem probably does it on PC. They have the highest rate of, our exclusive is also available on Game Pass, or it's also available on PC, or it's also like
I'll be playing Starfield on PC.
Right. Like why would you not?
I did want to talk about this. It's the Starfield controller that they released with the buttons of the way it looks like their NASA punk thing. I loved the look of, and I was like, am I just going to buy a controller to play a game on PC?
Probably.
I might.
Yeah. 100%. I think Phil's got another excellent point, which is that Zoomers don't have PCs. They have phones and consoles, and I think that's a fair point. But Xbox is still hurting for the fact that the really diehard market is really just playing on PC. So,
yeah. Anyway, it's going to be interesting. They keep calling out things in these court cases that kind of prove the point that it should go through, which is annoying from the group that's supposed to be hired to prove that it shouldn't.
Right.
And again, this is like voting in a Zuckerberg Musk cage fight or whatever. There's no winner here, no matter what happens.
Yep.
We all kind of lose. But maybe in one scenario, we could feel okay about playing Blizzard games again. Maybe. There's a possibility.
Fingers crossed. All right, let's talk about something weird, Matt. So,
unlike all of the other things we talked about selling our organs.
I didn't say it was the only weird thing. I said it was, let's talk about something that's weird. It's weird. I didn't reference anything else we've talked about that may or may not be weird.
This show is nothing but an organ paella, if you will. So, yes, let's see what the next ingredient.
That's the cold open. Anyway.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Don't do it.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. You're not going to stop me. All right. I'm out of order. But that's okay. That's all right. Let me make sure that I actually have the last slide in here. Or did I forget a slide? Yep.
I don't know.
Yep, I forgot a slide. That's okay. That's all right.
That's okay. That's okay.
All right.
Hey, it's all right.
Let's talk about this. This is not weird. This is just cool.
Mm-hmm.
Guerrilla Games has added an in-game tribute to Lance Reddick in Horizon Forbidden West. That's the whole story. There's nothing more that needs to be said, but this is just really a class act by Guerrilla.
Yeah.
I feel like this is just a really good way to pay tribute to an actor that I think the universal thought on this was we lost way too soon. And I love this tribute. I love everything about it. Players, it's easily accessible early in the game. It's not like some late game thing. It's very early in the game. You can easily go find it. It's a lovely tribute to someone that they worked with and felt like should be in a game. And I personally really, really love these digital tributes. Yeah. I think these digital tributes are really excellent ways to help people do their best to pay respects or to think about people that we've lost, and putting it in a digital space where it endures, I think, is a really good touch. I really like this.
There's a couple of really nice things about this and these type of things in particular. First and foremost, I believe that the area in which this tribute is around where the Hollywood Walk of Fame would be.
That's correct.
In the post-apocalyptic world of Horizon,
yep,
which is lovely. Second, I believe some music plays as you get close, and you can just hang out in there. But third, I think the cool thing about in-game memorials like this is it's not just a screen at the end of the game, like in memory of, or like something like that. This, because I think part of this is odd to get into, but part of a mourning process is it's all kind of a journey. And when you have something like this in an open world game, you still have to go there. You still have to move your character specifically with intent to that location. So you are making the journey to pay respects in a way. And yes, it's in a digital space and it's not quite the same as IRL, but in a world where we have either parasocial or I won't say one way, but like different balanced relationships with people who help create the art that we engage with.
Yeah.
This is a really, I think, healthy way to honor that particular relationship.
Yeah.
You can, you know, to pay tribute or mourn or do whatever. I think it's really, really, really nice and the perfect balance of I don't know, of what these relationships represent. And I love that they did this. To the point where this is the thing, even though I have not beaten the original Horizon yet, I think this is what's going to just push me over the edge. Just like buy it, like put it on the list and get it in there.
Yeah.
It's really, really nice.
Absolutely. This feels a lot like some of the we've lost multiple voice actors and people who were important to the creation of Final Fantasy XIV. And this feels very much in the same vein as those, which are hundreds of players on every world standing vigil somewhere in the world. This feels like Guerilla's version of that same concept. Not that 14 did it first, just that this is a really good way to do it. Okay, let's move on to our 10th story, and then we'll go back to the 8th story that I don't have a picture for.
You got it, McGruber.
Let's talk about Steam real quick.
Nice.
Steam added a feature in a recent update coming from the gamer. I didn't notice this because I don't use the Steam overlay. The Steam overlay is going to have a notes app in it.
Which is great.
And that's
such a silly, nice thing.
Right. Okay. I want to talk about this as like the because of course it should, right? Kind of thing, right? Of course it should have a notes app. Of course you should be able to put transparent notes over your game so that you can keep track of what you're doing in the game. Of course it should. How did it take this long?
I do wish there was a version of it that just looked like a window that is steamed up, right? And then the text looks like you wrote it with your finger. Because then it's like you're writing in Steam. I think that would be nice. But yeah, I'll take a regular text app too.
Yeah,
it's fine.
I just think this is a really good. This is a good accessibility feature. This is a good. This is just a good add-on, and it'll actually make me turn the Steam overlay back on. I just have to find a way to make it not fight with OBS or everything else.
Good luck.
It's great. It just fights with like everything. It's not great for streamers, which is why I didn't know about it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Let's go to our last story, which is a weird one that's sort of a thing. So, Matt, have you seen Across the Spider-Verse?
I have.
I have not. And we are assured that many people in chat, or Brad, or Janet, or Rocky have not. So we're going to do this without spoilies. Chat, did you know that there's something really weird about Across the Spider-Verse? Because if you talk about it with your friends in great detail, you may find that you didn't see the same movie that your friends did. And they didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, it's interesting. So there are, in fact, multiple versions, as Miss Inkwich calls out right here. They're minor differences. There's no major plots. There's different lines and some different shots and some different, like, almost like reactionary verbiage. Now, in a movie about the multiverse or the Spider-Verse, as it were, it makes total sense. Yeah, I know, right? Wow, I hadn't had a clue. Movies have done this in the past, much like Clue had different endings, which is really, really great. But even that is a harder sell. Like, when Clue did it, they were still actually projecting 35 millimeter onto screen, so they had to send out different cans with different endings to different theaters. This is a file. It's fine. But this is, I might get curmudgeon-y a little bit here.
Oh no, not curmudgeonly.
Yeah, curmudgeonly. I have no idea. I don't know if I like this.
Say more.
Clue made sense because the entirety of Clue was about figuring out the game it was made off of was about figuring out an ending. Then you have, I'm going to sidestep, and then we're going to go back to Across the Spider-Verse. When Cats came out, the film version of Cats, it was released unfinished, and then they patched it. Which opened kind of a door that I think might be happening more and more with sort of like a movie's not like, I mean, they do this when it goes to, this film has been formatted to fit your screen, but like, or even like there's different cuts of shows on Netflix than there are on Hulu. Like, we're getting to a point of distribution where the thing you watched, if you went and bought it somewhere else, might not be the full thing that you thought you were getting. Now, many times in a minor way, but like, I don't know. I like the idea. I've run a film podcast for like 8-9 years at this point. We're on episode 438, just came out yesterday. I have a vested interest in cinema. I really appreciated the art form once it was like released, it was done, and you could talk about its flaws or maybe things it got wrong or like whatever. And now it's becoming increasingly like, oh, we can just fix it.
Right.
Now, I don't think that's what Spider-Verse is doing. I think they did a cheeky little thing because it's a multiverse movie, but also the changes aren't enough. Like, I'm wondering what the reasoning behind it was other than just like a little Easter egg.
Chat has it, I think.
Oh, okay.
Chat has mentioned this a couple of times. A couple of people have. This is variant covers. Variant covers are different versions of comics that come out in different regions and different stores with a different version of the splash art at the front.
It is, but it's not. Like, it's not the cover. It's the guts.
Is it more substantial than the cover? I have been led to believe that the differences are
I would like here's a non-spoiler. I'm going to try to do this non-spoilery. There is a character that you see a shot of in the version that I saw that I found out is not in all of them. That is shocking and informative if you're not familiar with the character. In another version, that doesn't exist. And in the version I saw, they referenced the thing that happened, or they referenced something around it verbally. And I don't know if that line is different too, if you don't see that shot. There are structural understandings of characters that are actively adjusted, even slightly. And because of that reason, it's not just alternate takes and alternate lines that are like reactions or throwaways. A lot of that is that. But like, I'm curious if I had seen a version of the film that didn't have the shot I'm talking about, and maybe folks in chat will know what I'm talking about who have seen it. I wonder how I would react to that character, because it affected the way that I reacted to the character in question. So, again, very minorly, and I don't think, let me be very clear, I don't think any of this is going to affect your ultimate enjoyment of this film. I think it's an excellent film. Though it does, I feel like, have a bit less of a solid through line than the first one did. But that might also be because of the structure of it, and it goes into a third one and yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
It's just interesting. It's causing my cinematic spidey sense to go off a little bit and be like, like, that's neat. Just wanna keep an eye, like, you know.
Yeah, and of course, I think that that we also have to separate the concept of doing this from its particular execution in this case, right? So, like, the concept of a comic book movie having variant cover scenes, probably fine, right? Good.
Oh, I love
the concept.
Yeah, and you know what would have been neat? I mean, this is too much work. This is not what I'm saying, but like, what if? This is a very minor, very hyper minor spoiler. Spider-Man fights a villain in a cool art style in the beginning of the film. Or I think Spider-Gwen might. Spider-Man, a particular, it doesn't matter, right?
A spoder.
A spoder. Wouldn't it be neat, and this would be too much work to do, if the art style of that villain was different in different versions, but what happens to that villain, what the villain says, like all that, like that to me is variant cover stuff. Do you know what I mean? Whereas when you're changing shots structurally and that affect knowledge bases,
Sure.
maybe I'm wrong too. Like I this is all I've only seen the one version, and I've heard that the shot that I've been talking about has been removed in other versions.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the reactionary line. Like for instance, if they removed that shot and the reactionary line, it would still affect my knowledge of that character, but I might not know that it did.
But it wouldn't irk you in the same
Yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that the difference, one of the chat's asking how this is different than Clue. I think the difference is that in Clue, it feels
the meta narrative,
right. There's like this meta narrative that's going on, and also the because we're reaching a different destination, the understanding of the differences between our experiences are greater, versus this one that took a week more for people to understand that there were multiple versions, right? The fact that they kept the lid on this for like this long is actually pretty impressive, right? And that the alteration of an individual's experience might be imperceptible but still significant, versus Clue, where it's obviously perceptible because you get a different killer at the end, right? And I think that that's the important part.
And someone just said it in chat. I think it was Foxdoc. Here it is. Basically, in Clue, everything's the same until the character switches the lights off for the reveal.
Yeah.
And like, granted, meta narratively, I guess I'm just coining that, even if it's not correct. The way that Clue does it, because of how Clue is structured based on the IP that it's based off of, makes sense. And having different versions of a cut in a multiversal movie would make sense. But actually, I don't know if it does meta narratively, because we're supposed to be seeing, I would argue, the perception of characters as we go on, either Miles or Gwen.
Yeah.
There are surrogate characters. They're not experiencing the differences we are from an outsider perspective.
Yeah.
Where in Clue, the differences affect the characters. This is weird. I'm going to have to think about this a little bit longer. But anyway, there's nothing, I want to be very clear. I don't think this is bad. It's one of those things that like caused a little bit of an itch in my brain that like,
yeah,
I would like to just think about how we deal with film in particular, but sort of art in general, about like changes and things. We're always going to be changing stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. But in a time when, you know what it is? It's literally streaming services that have caused me to start thinking this way.
Yeah.
Because I mean, look at this isn't a story we were going to talk about this week, but look at what's happening over with Paramount Plus, and what Zaslav is doing over there. I think it's Zaslav. I don't remember. I just blame everything on him at this point. No, that might be HBO and Max. The loss of Prodigy.
Yeah.
Star Trek Prodigy.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2 they're finishing, but they're not airing, and they're taking season 1 off the air to not pay people residuals. And that's atrocious. Like,
I was actually thinking about getting, so I'd canceled Paramount Plus because I hadn't been watching anything, and I was like, wow, I should rewatch DS9 because I really like DS9. And now that decision to pull Prodigy has made me not want to resubscribe to Paramount Plus to watch DS9. I will hook a Blu-ray player up. I don't have a disc drive hooked up right now. I will find one, and I will borrow the DVDs from my parents before I give Paramount Plus money right now.
This is the interesting thing. To quote Archer talking to Lana, is this how you want piracy? Because this is how you get piracy.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's and look, hey, billionaire CEOs and owners of giant streaming services, I'm talking directly to you because I know you join us for breakfast every week, and
That's
I very
right.
much appreciate your patronage. I would appreciate if you would drop your Twitch Prime subscription here, just to show some love, specifically you billionaires.
Right, yeah, obviously.
But I get it. Like, yeah, I'm just doing taxes, save things, whatever. But like, if this is the way you have to save money, then your business model is not sustainable, dummies. Like, come on.
How is it that
I'm not saying I have the answers, but I don't also have $1 billion. All I have is my organs and wills if I can take them, and the ability to make a paella. So I can't run a streaming service with that.
Also a candidate for the cold open. They're
not going to know why we're talking about paella.
That's the point, Matt. We're talking about paella early enough in the episode. That's the point. If you're watching this, comment below if that was the cold open. Meta call to action.
I want the number one comment just to be paella. That's what I want on the YouTube.
Do it, Janet. You won't.
Let's see. Please. This is a request, not an order. You can do whatever you want. Anyway, it opens up an interesting question. I think the reason why I'm getting that the Peter tingle in the back of my head is the fact that the streaming services are doing things like this.
Oh, Kestrel's got it.
What do you got? Put it up.
It just have multiple versions of the cold open. Yes.
You actually can't.
That sounds like quitter talk, Matt.
You know what's interesting though? There is a YouTube feature coming out soon. We were in the beta for a minute of it, but it is going to be coming out for everybody, where you actually can upload multiple thumbnails and see which one does better. So it'll be serving different.
That'll be great.
Variant covers.
Yeah, that'll be great.
There could be a Nebula version if we want to make Will do double the work. If the Nebula version is different,
we'll see how much of a pain this edit
is. Let's see if our new. We're also, despite all the tech problems, we're still dealing with some audio drift stuff when we sort of post this show, and so we're trying a different audio format to record my stuff locally, so I sound better when Will puts it all together. If that goes smoothly, maybe Will can do 2 different cold opens.
Fight everyone. All right, on that note, we should probably wrap up here so I can choose from our multiple different excellent cold opens to get started with. Brad, Janet, Matt, thank you all for joining for breakfast this week. I'm really glad to be back, and I hope that you are too. Yes. Tech problems aside, I feel like we're on a good path. I'm super excited, Matt. Thoughts, feelings, party shots from VidCon.
What'd you say?
Parting shots from VidCon? And any hot stuff you want to drop from the convention?
The best part of VidCon was not going to VidCon. I got to hang out in such nice environments with so many fun creators and lovely people that I've spoken to across different things, but it's always nice to see them in meet space. Yeah, meeting Aaron was a definite highlight. What else did I you know what? I will say this. I love a lazy river. And I got to go in a lazy river because I got to go to California. And that is worth its price in paella, I think. Yeah, it was good. It was a good time.
Excellent. Well, Matt, could you please do our traditional outro as only you can?
Of course. Absolutely. Of course, this outro, you all know it by now. I hope the 2 weeks off has not dulled your senses for knowing exactly what to say at the same time that I say it to end this episode. Right. Okay, are we ready for the end of the episode, everybody? Brad, Janet, Rocky, thank you so much for watching, and until next time. Paella is a classic Spanish rice dish made with rice, saffron, vegetables, chicken, and seafood cooked and served in one pan. Although paella originates from Valencia, it is recognized as the national food of Spain, and there are several different varieties. Paella would include a mix of your own fish stock from discarded shells of seafood. I usually substitute chicken broth for convenience.
You're getting like the first line of that. I hope you know.